We begin with Nancy Pelosi's trip to Taiwan. The House Speaker arrived on the self-governed island earlier today, this visit raising tensions between the U.S. and China. She's the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Taiwan in 25 years. The move has angered China, which claims the island as its own. She shared this after landing, saying, quote, "Our visit reiterates that America stands with Taiwan, a robust, vibrant democracy, and our important partner in the Indo-Pacific." For more on this, Ohio Congressman Mike Turner joins us. He is the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee. Representative Turner, thank you for your time today. Beijing's already announced military maneuvers in response to the House Speaker's visit. How concerned are you this trip could potentially spark a military incident?
Well, I think it's certainly very important that Nancy Pelosi stood up to the pressure and went to Taiwan. She most recently, has been meeting with Zelensky in Kyiv, and now she's gone to Taiwan. And I think, as you read, it has properly phrased this as a battle for democracy, where we have new aggression that's coming from both China and Russia. I think what's going to be important, if you look at her op-ed that she just published in the Washington Post, about the reason why she went, and that this is a new battle in order to be able to support democracy. I'm looking forward when she comes back to Washington, because we have a lot of work to do. I think this is a great opportunity for her to turn now to how do we scope the military that we need? How do we fund the military? Currently, the House under Nancy Pelosi's leadership has a $70 billion cut to defense that we're going to have to overcome. Cuts to our nuclear weapons systems, why China is rebuilding and modernizing, expanding its nuclear weapons systems. So I think, her statements of that we need to defend democracy are a great opportunity for us to turn to the debate to how do we now strengthen our national security so that we can help others.
So there's an important diplomatic message, but there are also threats and risks associated with this trip. Why take the trip now?
Well, apparently this was a trip that she'd been planning for some time and had not been able to go. I think, certainly you've seen, strong support in Congress from everyone, on the Senate side and the House side to say, no, we should not bend to China, and no member of Congress should be told where they can and cannot go by the aggressive state of China, by the Communist Party, or by Russia itself, as she showed when she went to meet with Zelensky in Kyiv. I think what's more important, though, as we look to the diplomacy, which really we need to see more from the Biden administration, they need to be standing up to China. They stopped the China initiative because they thought it was too provocative to China. There are a number of areas where they have scaled back efforts to try to hold China accountable for what they're doing and threatening their neighbors and threatening the United States. But there's an opportunity here. As she comes back to the United States, we need to focus on what do we need to do to strengthen our military so that these threats from these countries can be deterred.
But let's be clear, the United States does look the other way for certain countries when it's in their interest. President Biden was just meeting the Crown Prince there in the Saudi Kingdom, and the allegations of its human rights record are extensive. What is the United States' strategic benefit to ally itself with Taiwan?
Well, first off, this is not an issue of human rights solely. This is an issue also of national security threats and threats to our allies. China's been threatening Japan. We have a nuclear North Korea that's threatened South Korea only because of Japan. Japan is threatening Taiwan. These are autocratic states that are threatening democracies. Saudi Arabia is not threatening the United States, they're not threatening our allies. You also have Russia, who's killing innocent people. Children, as Nancy Pelosi said in her own statement, innocent families are being slaughtered by Russia in Ukraine. These are issues where Ukraine is a democracy, Russia is not, where we need to stand up for democracy. That's what she said correctly. Now we need to turn back to make sure that we have the military to back up the strong statements that she's been making around the world.
I want to also get your thoughts on the killing of al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri. You wrote in a statement, quote, "President Biden claimed al-Qaeda was gone from Afghanistan. This strike tells us otherwise." You raise an important point. I mean, al-Qaeda is supposed to be a shell of what it was decades ago. What threat do you feel it still poses to Americans?
Well, all of these terrorist organizations are self-declared adversaries. I mean, they have declared the United States and our allies as their targets. Now, these are the President of the United States' words. He specifically said that his justification for leaving Afghanistan in the hectic, haphazard way that he did that let Afghanistan fall to the Taliban, that the reason he was leaving is because al-Qaeda is gone. And then now the administration is taking a victory lap of having killed the head of al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. So clearly the president's own words show that they're not true this evening.
So which is it? Are they a threat, an ongoing threat, and a risk to us all, or not?
They are absolutely a threat, and they are a self-declared threat. And the president, in the manner in which he left Afghanistan, has left it to an area that can continue to have threats against our nation grow. We've not seen evidence of the over-horizon holding terrorism and holding the Taliban at bay that the president had promised. We've seen this one very well planned, very well thought out. The intelligence community did a phenomenal job of identifying his location and taking him out. But his presence clearly shows that what the president said was not true. Al-Qaeda is not gone, and they're not gone from Afghanistan.
Make a very good point. Congressman Mike Turner, really great to get your insight on these top stories. We appreciate it.